Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be reviewing the upcoming Japanese Grand Prix. So let's get started. The racecourse is called the Suzuki International Racecourse. It was developed initially by Honda as they wanted a testing track for their automobiles. It has been part of our F1 calendar since 1987 and we had our last race over here in 2019. Just like Singapore, it was not part of our racecourse for 2020 and 2021. This circuit is about 5.8 kilometers long and will be having 53 laps this Sunday. This circuit is very unique because it is very challenging and rewarding at the same time. The first two S's at the beginning of the lap are a true test of a Formula 1 driver and the car because overtaking on these narrow tracks is both a combination of commitment and precision. Talking about the race over here in 2019, we had Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc starting in 1-2. However, Valtteri Bottas won the race with Sebastian Vettel coming in second and Lewis Hamilton coming in third. We also had the famous crash between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc on the first S, as I was talking about at the beginning of the lap. Before I get into the predictions, let's take a look at the news and updates before the Japanese Grand Prix. Firstly, Max Verstappen can clinch his second World Championship this weekend itself. This track is really special to Max because it was his first track where he sat in a Formula 1 car in an FP1 session. And he says it's going to be really special for him if he can win his championship this weekend itself. And we of course know about the relationship between Red Bull and Honda. The best part is that this time Max holds his fate in his own hands. Unlike in Singapore where he would have to have finished first place and a lot of things would have to have gone in his favor, this weekend he only needs to win the race with the fastest lap and he will claim his second world championship. Max is 104 points ahead of Charles. If he wins this race this weekend, with the fastest lap he'll get 26 more points. And let's take a hypothetical situation where for the last 4 races Max does not score a single point, which is very weird to say because of the dominant season he has had this year. And let's say Charles wins all the 4 races along with the fastest lap and he also wins the sprint in Brazil. With all these points, Charles will only equal Max's tally of points, and even then they will decide the champion on the basis of the number of wins. Max will have 12 wins, and if Charles does win the remaining 4 races, he will have 7 wins. So either way, Max is going to be the world champion. Now if we take our focus off the top contenders and have a look at the midfield, Singapore has really intensified the midfield battle, especially for the 4th place in the constructors. Alpine has been really impressive this year. They had a streak of 7 races where both the drivers finished in top 10. However, the last 2 races have not been quite good for them. In Singapore, both the drivers DNF'd and McLaren took full advantage of this, with Lando finishing in P4 and Daniel finishing in P5. I think we were all happy when Daniel finished in P5. We all want him to have a good stretch of races before he leaves McLaren. Another midfield battle which was somewhat unexpected to me, Aston Martin really made a lot of progress in Singapore, with Lance Stroll finishing in 6th and Sebastian Vettel finishing in 8th. They gained a total of 12 points, which seems very insignificant to us, but this helped them jump from 9th place in the constructors to 7th place, ahead of Haas and AlphaTauri. And again, we don't care about who finishes 7th, 8th or 9th in the constructors, but there's a lot of prize money involved for each position, and this can actually help them build the car for the next year. So I feel Fernando Alonso is rooting for Aston Martin to get 7th place on constructors. Now coming to the tyres for this race, Pirelli has allocated the hardest compounds in each range. So we'll be having C1 hard tyres, C2 medium tyres and C3 soft tyres. Strategy wise, it can be a 1-stop or a 2-stop depending upon the starting grid and how teams want to go about the race and who they are racing actually, which makes all the difference in the world. Now coming to the predictions, I believe Max Verstappen is going to win his second championship this weekend itself. It has been coming for a long time and I feel it's going to happen this weekend. I feel he's going to win the race with the fastest lap. He was really unlucky in Singapore with the fuel and getting a bad start, but he was the only guy who was making a large number of overtakes. And I feel he's going to dominate this weekend and going to clinch his second title in Japan. In P2, I have Charles Leclerc coming in. I want Charles to have a good stretch of races towards the end so that he has a lot of motivation for next year. This year, probably there was a chance for him to win the title, but things didn't go well, be it strategy-wise or a couple of mistakes he has made himself. In P3, I have Lewis Hamilton coming in. I know Lewis has made a couple of mistakes, especially in Singapore, which cost him heavily. But I feel tracks like Japan, the Dutch Grand Prix, British Grand Prix suit Lewis's style of driving, and I feel he can have a good race this weekend. In P4, I have Carlos Sainz coming in, and P5, Sergio Perez. I feel Sergio Perez should get more credit for the amazing race he has had at Singapore. I feel street circuits really suit Sergio because he's obviously great at defending, and I think in street circuits where you don't have to worry about overtaking, you can focus on getting your lap times in, making those turns at the right time, braking at the right time, and accelerating at the right time. Now, coming to the best of the rest, I feel McLaren is going to increase their gap from Alpine this weekend, especially with the upgrades coming to Daniel's car as well. I feel they can have a good stretch of races so that they can solidify their P4 in the constructors battle. Number of cars finishing, I'm going with 18, because even in 2019's race there were a couple of crashes on the two S curves I was talking about. So I expect 18 cars to finish the race, and let's see who wins on Sunday. Till then guys, thank you for watching, and lights out and away we go.